Okay, Szabi, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Szabolcs Weöres. It's quite complicated to say, so in France people call me Szabi, so I am Szabi, and I'm coming from Hungary. I'm 51 years old. I have a family. I have a wife and 3 children, and yeah, that's it. I started to sail when I was 6 or 7 years old, and since that I'm sailing.
How you discover sailing?
Sailing was not new in my family. My father was sailing, also my grandfather was sailing, and then in the summertime we spent our summers at Lake Balaton, which is the biggest lake in Hungary, and started to sail there. And when I was 7 years old, I don't remember, 6 or 7, so quite early, because my father was the coach in the local sailing yacht club, and he taught us sailing also. And I started with my brother and with my sister. So I have a brother and sister, and then our whole family is sailing. So I started with Optimist, as most of the kids, and then went up bigger and bigger dinghies, 420, and after that I was sailing in Olympic class dinghies, and then small keel boats and bigger offshore boats, and then yeah.
How you discover offshore racing?
It's quite interesting. So sailing was in Hungary in my time. Sailing was more focused on Olympic sailing, so dinghy sailing and Olympic sailing. And then I remember I was sailing in Flying Dutchman that time, and then Flying Dutchman was out from the Olympic program. So in this communist time, it was impossible to get support for a non-Olympic class boat, and then in this time I didn't find any boat which fits to me. So then I was really fed up with sailing, because it seemed to me too complicated, too much politics involved. And then that time I started to I wanted to do some simpler sport, and this was the time when I started to do triathlon, because I wanted to have something more simple than sailing, and the result became who is running faster, who can hold longer, who has better endurance, who is stronger mentally and physically. And then I choose that I make long distance triathlon, and then I was doing it quite seriously. And then it's very interesting, because this triathlon and sailing is always part of my life. Sometimes a little bit of sailing, sometimes more serious triathlon. And after that, when I was competing quite high level in triathlon, a friend of mine was coming to me that an offshore sailing team was organized by Hungary to sail around the world. And then he was asking me if I want to participate and be a member of this team, and I said for sure. And then it was also a very interesting project. It was in 1996, so quite long time ago. And then a Hungarian team, we went. We never seen ocean before, and then our team was really not the most experienced one. And then we started to we participated on around the world yacht race, which the name was Hong Kong Challenge, and then we developed our team, and we became a really good team, and at the end we won this race. And then this time I saw that offshore sailing really fits to me. And then I remember one of our last stopover was in La Rochelle, and then we were visiting Nándor Fa in Le Sable d'Olonne, and he was preparing for the Vendée Globe. And then after 20 or 25,000 miles behind me, and I saw this incredible boat, a 60-footer. I think that time it was open 60, not yet IMOCA. Then, yeah, I started to dream about also single-handed sailing.
It's for you the first memories, first picture of Vendée Globe?
Not really, because I was always interested in challenge, and then I think for me Vendée Globe and then sailing single-handed around the world was always the most complex, and in my mind it was always the biggest challenge what you can dream about or think about it. But it was so far, and then it was so unrealistic to me. I could just dream about it. So especially I heard about Vendée Globe. I don't know when was the first time, maybe when Nándor Fa was participating. I remember he was the first non-French sailor who was doing this course, and then it was quite a big thing also in Hungary. And I heard about this, and I was really amazed about Vendée Globe. And then partly I also wanted to find some challenge for myself, and triathlon was as I told you, triathlon was my challenge because of its simplicity, and you don't need that much money, and then it's much easier to do and test your physical and mental strengths. And yes, so back to your question, I think in 1992 or something like this, I heard first time about the Vendée Globe.
And because of this year, it's the 10th edition, do you have memories, others edition after this first contact with Vendée Globe?
Yes, I was always, I think I was following most of the editions because I was really amazed about the technique, the boats, and also the skipper, the course, the stories. And then, as I said, this is the biggest and the most complex challenge what I can imagine for myself, because you need so many skills. So I was always following the Vendée Globe and the stories in Vendée Globe.
And do you have skippers or stories or edition where mark you?
Yes, I have many stories in my hand because there were lots of stories, you know, better than me. For example, really one of my favorite when Yves Parlier was break his mast and then fixed it on water, because I'm a rigger as my profession, and then I was also working for a company and building carbon fiber mast, and I was also building carbon fiber mast myself, and then I was really amazed about this achievement, how to fix and step a rig on the water and continue and finishing the race. So this was, I think, a very remarkable one. And then I really liked Michel Desjoyaux's Vendée Globe, and the professor, and his name was Professor, and I was also amazed the story how he started his engine, the generator with the jibe, and it was very creative. And then I don't know, I was always following, you know, Alex Thomson as a non-French sailor, and then François Gabard, you know, sailing fast, and Armel Leclerc and all these guys, and also the English sailor and the women's like Ellen MacArthur, and I was always amazed by those achievements.
And for you, when it was more evident that you want to take part on the Vendée Globe?
I think it was yes, I always wanted to, but you know, it's just a dream, and how to get into the reality. I know that I was 100% sure, I'm 100% sure that it fits to me. I knew that I have the skills, because I think I'm working in the sailing industry. I'm quite technical, so I was working as sailmaker, mast builder, boat builder, rigger. For example, 2007, I was working for an America's Cup team, for the South African America's Cup team in Valencia. I was responsible for the mast and the rigging, and this was also that time a small team, and I had the opportunity to participate in every field, so not just mast and rigging, sometimes sailing and sometimes boat building, and design office, and I was so interested in each details in design. But back to your question, so Vendée Globe was always a dream for me, and I knew that I have the skills to do it, but I didn't see the road how to get a campaign together, because as you see, the development is so fast. And then even our days how to jump on this train, it was really difficult to imagine. Yeah. But how I made it at the end, yes, maybe it's interesting, because the goal is so high and this journey is so long that for most of the people, especially in Hungary, it seems to be absolutely impossible. But I can go back again, a little bit of triathlon, because after the America's Cup, I started to do triathlon again very seriously. And then I achieved, I was training very hard, and I was almost, you know, I was training as much as a professional, but I was an amateur triathlete, and I managed to qualify myself to the Hawaii World Championship, which is in between triathletes. This is the same things like Vendée Globe in the offshore sailing. And then it was also a very long journey, a very hard journey, and then I had to work and train very, very hard to achieve these goals. And then before I decided to do this and aim for it, I thought it's impossible, because of the level was so high. But when I achieved, I was there, I made very good results, so I was very happy. And then I just proved myself again that nothing is impossible. And then I thought, if I don't try to do the Vendée Globe, then I will regret later. And then I'm not the youngest now, so I'm 51, and I told to myself that now or never. And when the last Vendée Globe was finishing, then I started to work on my project. And then, luckily, you know, I just can say that knock on the door and the door opens, and then look for it and you find. So this was the principle, and then just go every day one step towards your goal, and that's it. Don't see too far. And then I find myself in the middle of the campaign. I had a boat, and I was out, you know, 3 years ago with an IMOCA 60 out of the Bay of Biscay, totally alone. So it was quite serious, because I didn't had any single-handed offshore sailing experience. So this was my first time, you know. Normally people start in the Mini and then Figaro or Class 40 or whatever and build up the project. But in Hungary, it was impossible to go step by step. First of all, I'm old, I think. I'm the older generation. And second, no one is interested in Mini. They don't even know what is Mini Transat. The only way was that Nándor Fa is handing over, the project to a young sailor, and this is the story, and then we could sell this story, but it was a huge step and a huge jacket, let's say a huge jacket or huge boots to me. So the beginning of the project was very, very, very challenging because of the lack of my experience. But I thought, again, my philosophy is not okay, don't worry, don't look too far, focus on the present and try to sort out the problems one by one, and it will be fine, don't worry, it will be fine. Yes.
And now we are 2 months before the start. Are you ready?
I think I'm ready because I qualified. So the qualification process gave me also lots of confidence, because people said that it was one of the hardest qualification ever. So and I made it. So I made, I think, something like 6 Transat and then 3 or 4 solo. I was not in the Southern Ocean, but I'm confident. I know the boat because of the small team, and this was also everything has a good side and a bad side too. When you have a small team, you do most of the jobs by yourself, and then this is an extreme good opportunity to learn. So I think I know my boat very well, and then I sailed enough, so I'm quite confident now for the Vendée Globe.
And what's your main goal on this journey?
My main goal is to finish the race, but I'm a competitive person, so I always say that, and I hope that I can and then get the most out. Yes, to get the most out of my boat, my technique. So because my boat is built in 2007, so it's quite an old generation boat, but we know her potential, and my goal is sail my boat on her potential and finish the race. And then I hope that I will find some other competitors in the second half or second half of the fleet who I can compete against, and then make the race more interesting.
And what about your expectation about the journey, the course, and the seas you will cross and go through?
Yes, there is again a lot of unknown ahead of me, but I think when I started the campaign, I also had lots of unknown things, and then I think all this Vendée Globe for me is just get used to unknown things. So accept what you get and try to sort it out. So I'm pretty sure that I'm facing two big challenges, and then physically, mentally, technically, and there will be very hard moments, but I'm ready for it, and I hope I can tackle it, and then I can go over all these difficulties and sort out and then finish it, and then have the feeling when you sort out a big problem, the feeling is just great afterwards.
What about the seas, the different seas you will see?
I was sailing on Indian Ocean, I was sailing on Pacific Ocean, but not on the south. But you have to have a first time. So it's going to be my first time. And then I was always dreaming about to sail on the Southern Ocean.
And what about your pleasure at sea? Where is your pleasure?
I think I really like to be on the sea alone. It's a big pleasure to feel the freedom and then get so close to the nature. It's so special that you cannot experience it on land.
And what about your loneliness during 2.5 months?
Yes, it's a good question. I don't know, because the longest trip was 3 weeks alone, or between 2 and 3 weeks, and it's obviously it's going to be much longer. But I think I'm mentally prepared, and then my experience in solo sailing that I'm never bored. So we have so many things to do, and then everything is happening so fast, and then and the days, the daily routine and the job list and sailing and eating and recovering and sleeping, and you are never bored. You always have something to do, so you can't have self-pity and then that saying that I'm so alone. And I don't think I never feel lonely out on the sea.
And how you prepare yourself to stay in a little space, because you are triathlete. You need to run, to bike, to swim.
Yeah. I think movement, so the physical challenge is there. Those boats are physically very challenging, so it won't be a problem that you don't make sport. So because it's a sport, so especially in sailing, you never have fixed floor under your legs. So even when you are sleeping, your muscles are working. Even when you are eating, your muscles are working. Just holding yourself on the boat, all your muscles are working. So your muscles are working 24/7. So a little difference is, the place is very closed. This is just the mental setup, I think. So, but the place where you are is very closed. But when you look outside, it's huge and it's very open. So it's much bigger than in the city.
And what about the work around the weather and the time it takes? How you feel with that?
Yes, the weather routing, I improved on the last year. I improved this area a lot, so I know, I understand the systems, I understand the basics. For sure, I'm not the most experienced one in this, but I try to read and talk to people who has more experience, and then I try to prepare myself as good as I can. And everybody knows more or less the key points of the race, like Cape of Good Hope, or Cape Horn, or South Atlantic, or Passage the Equator, or Bay of Biscay and the end. And especially you ask, I follow all the races, so I have some ideas about the key points. It will be different because now I have to make decision. I have to download the weather files and I have to decide how to pass the different weather systems and which way to go. And I know that on the Big South it will be huge area, huge water, and then lots of options where to go, and then the distances are going to be much bigger than on the Atlantic. Yeah, I'm really curious about this.
How you prepare yourself to the emotion and roller coaster emotion during 3 months, and especially the day of start, the channel, a lot of people, and after you're very quickly alone on your boat, and the transition between land and sea. How you prepare yourself to that?
Yes, definitely. It's a very good question, but I assume that now that other people are also facing this problem, for me it is one of the most, also in the qualification races, emotionally it's quite challenging, the start. The start when you're working together with all teams, but you see that your short team is just releasing the pressure. They are very happy that they made it, they brought you to the starting line, and then I was working as hard as they, so we were working together, and then after that everything, the big part is still ahead of you, so you have to continue, and you find yourself alone. And then I'm honest, I'm always in that moment, I always have the questions to myself that what I'm going to do here, what I am doing here, but this is a transition, and then it's because it's always happened to me. I think I can prepare it mentally, and also some seasickness is coming too. I'm not really seasick. I handle the sea, I must say, quite well, but to get the eating habit, to get used to the sea, to get alone, and this transition is hard, and yes, I'm preparing for this mentally, and I think I will be okay. Now I know that it doesn't last forever. It lasts 3 days for me, and then after 3 days I really used to start to enjoy the solo mode, be only me, the boat, and the nature around me, and then I can completely cut my life on land, and then I can really focus on the moment and for the solo sailing mode. And now I know that it's 3 days and it's coming, so this is my mental preparation for the start. And then the other question, what you were asking, the roller coaster feelings, I think this is also not unusual when I was speaking with other people, and they experiencing the same. So it's very good to know that I'm not the only one who has this kind of experience. And then basically how I prepare, I try to be constant. So which means, not if something is good, don't be super happy, and if something doesn't go well, don't let yourself down. So try to be emotionally like a little bit in a machine mode, that just focus on do your best in the moment where you are. Just focus what is the next step, what is the best things what you can do now, and then don't leave too much emotional life with the things what are happening with you.
What about your fears? Do you have fears?
Fears? Yes, for sure I have fears. but again, I know that some problems will pop up, and every day, many people say that every day is a new problem that you have to sort out. So I'm not, and with the experience what I have now, I see that I can sort out the problem well. So I just can hope that I can sort, the problems which are coming out, and then I can trust on my creativity, I can trust on my knowledge, I can trust on my boat, I can trust the homework what we made with the boat. I try to put all the fears away, and then try to be rational, and then be focused, and then not let too big space for the fears.
Can you explain to us how you manage food?
The food is, as a triathlete, when I was doing the triathlon, I was quite serious about nutrition. And then I think I have quite good overview about nutrition, but on the sea this is a different story. I know that I have to make a different nutrition than on endurance sport. First of all, you cannot have all the products and fresh fruit, and so you have to take different products, and I'm using the same products as everybody, so this dry food and wet food, and basically lyophilized food is the basic products for me as well, but I'm using, but I try to get some extra vitamins, and then I try to bring fresh fruit and try to save it as long as possible, and then I also focusing for quick calories in case you don't have time to cook. This is kind of sport or endurance sport food. And then I think it's also very important to have also some food which makes you happy. So basically this is the concept of the food, and then also some food which reminds you to be at home.
And for example, for Hungarian, what's
Hungarian food? I think the famous Hungarian salami, and then maybe some Hungarian confiture, homemade, what we are cooking. Peach confiture is quite kind of my favorite. I can take with myself, and then basically a few of those products, and then it's very good that it reminds you the home food.
And how you manage your rest, your sleep, and is it something you work on during the transat or the preparation?
Yes, basically what I learned, if you have nothing to do, then sleep, because you never know when is your next opportunity to sleep. I know that many skippers are doing it quite scientifically and designing the sleeping. I think I don't have the background. I'm not working with expert, so I can rely what the other guys are saying, and then on my experience. And then normally I do short sleeps, something like 20 minutes sleeps, and then waking up, checking, and if it's possible, and I do another 20 minutes. And then my goal is it's also important to me, if it's possible, to get once a day a little bit a longer sleep, and then try to get altogether 5 hours sleep per day, if it's possible. So that's it. And then sleep, when you have nothing to do, then sleep.
What will be the best Vendée Globe you have?
The best Vendée Globe, how you, finishing the race, so achieve my goal. It's already, this is the best what I can imagine.
We wish it for you.
Thank you.